Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the final regular season League of Legends match for the season. So after this, we'll be going to playoffs. So we will be going from there. So tonight's match is against Northwood High. So this is GatorGaming League of Legends. So this is going to be our third and final time hitting them in season. And we'll see kind of how some dynamics have changed and some other things have kind of modified back and forth as we've gone through, and kind of what the strategies are. So today we're on the team 2 side over there, so we should be the red team, and we're going to be going into band shortly, and then I will be having a few minutes of delay in order to see kind of what's going on, and we'll go from there. So this is Mr. Hyde, the sponsor of the esports team, and I'll be giving y'all some color commentary as we kind of get going forward. So here we are in the band rounds. Oh, 1 second.
Your emperor shall return.
Alrighty, sorry about that. We had to do some things for the electronics club who were fixing some drones for the drone club. So here we are. We've got a Zoe ban on our side, and we've got an Azir ban and a Nar ban on their side, which is strange. They've never seen us play those characters. So we saw them play Zoe last time, and we've seen them play Jhin, and I believe 2 rounds ago. So I'm expecting them probably to... Let's see who they're picking on here. I know, just to let all the other people know, because of some changes and because of the rule set that we're playing, there have been modifications to Sejuani. That means that Sejuani can't be played as a jungler right now, due to the modifications that have been made to the character. She can't be played, or they can't be played until next week, because there's a 2-week period. So here we have Lux. So from what I understand from the students, Lux was supposed to get a buff, but then wound up, they rolled that back because, so Lux is still a viable pick right now, but apparently that was a thing. So Lux is also what they saw our mid laner pick last time we played them, so they're kind of picking a few of our characters. So here we have Vex, Jarvan. These are 2 characters I don't know, but I would assume that Jarvan is probably a top laner. Ahri. Oh boy, a bunch more characters I don't know. Brand. Okay, there's one I finally know, Teemo. So that's probably going to be our top laner. That's probably going to be Sakota Bird in top with Teemo. And Lux, I think, was a mid.
Fear is the first of many foes.
So then we banned Garen, which was one of their players from, I think, 3 rounds ago.
Let me at him.
And then they banned Jax. I'm not sure if we played... No, we played Jax, I think, 3 rounds ago. I think that was a bottom lane. Alright, and then the final ban for us was Udyr, which I do remember them playing. I don't remember which round it was in.
Hey, never pick a fight you can't win.
Their final ban was Set, which was, I believe, an alternate top laner for us. Because that's what Sakota played, I believe, 2 rounds ago as a top. then over here, we've got Gwen, who I do not know. And then Mordekaiser. So Mordekaiser we've seen a lot as a top laner. So this is the hero that always has that special ability where he gains back a bunch of armor over his normal health, depending on how many kills and how much experience he has kind of in there, which is very useful for a top laner to kind of be able to dive and do other things. So, and then we have, for us, Caitlyn and Senna. If I remember correctly, Caitlyn was a mid, and then I don't think I've seen Senna. So now we get a little bit of, they're going to pick their loadouts and pick all their different spells, etc., which are going to determine what their positionings are. And then we're going to have about a 5-minute delay before the actual game round starts. So we'll kind of see how a few odds and ends run on this one. So I'll check back in just a moment, and we'll see from there. So as mentioned, here we have our spectator delay, so we don't show anything that is too confidential and against the other team. So we'll get it in just 1 second and hear kind of how things are going. Alrighty, so let's see what we got with our spectator delay after we just got back into the game. So we should spawn in, and then it should give me the game. There we go. Alrighty. So let's see what we got. So there's Caitlyn, Jarvan, etc. So here they are doing their first little purchases and how they're doing, and they're gonna start heading to their lanes pretty soon. Okay, I'm good with off-screen pains, thanks. All right. Alright, so Cato Magnet is going to be the red team, appropriate for our school colors, and then Northwood is going to be the blue team. So let's see how we're going. So we see our Senna over there on the right-hand side. So Ari is in our mid, so that is Mustard Fandango. So our Mustard Fandango is normally a Lux player, so this will be an interesting match because he should be quite aware of how Lux works and all the different things to avoid, etc. So that should be a pretty decent matchup. So there's Teemo up at the top with interesting. So there are two. Their jungler is choosing to go into the top lane with their. So there's their Mordekaiser, and then their Brand is also up there in the top before he's going into the jungle. That's interesting. Whereas a lot of our guys are down here waiting for an initial spawn. So their Lux is down here in bot with their Gwen. So they're running Lux and bot, whereas Vex and Ari are up here. Okay. It's a different circumstance. So Jarvan will be our jungler, who's Bonk. So interesting. So Caitlyn and Senna are down there. So Caitlyn, that must be one of them was the support. One of them is the ADC. So it's interesting that they're doubling up on top rather than really trying to have a jungle at all. So they're putting a lot of work in on our Teemo up there. Teemo is usually a character that I've been told scales later in the game, so when they have a couple of characters up there who are early scalers like Mordekaiser and then having a second player up there at all, it's going to make it really hard for Sakota Bird to be able to actually do what she needs to do, as it's mostly laying traps and stuff for Teemo, so this is going to be an interesting thing. They really seem to be going deep on top. So... Alright, so we got a kill on the bot lane. So, but bot lane is still pushed up all the way almost to our tower, giving them a real opportunity to get some economy down there. And top is still got... They're still going after Teemo. Well, they got Mordekaiser. He hadn't scaled enough to be able to tank the tower hits like that. It's an interesting choice of play. I think it looks like they've almost completely abandoned the jungle, which will mean that they're trying to gank up on top, but without all the extra experience there's probably going to be an EXP scaling from our team that's going to bite them in the rear probably in about 5 minutes. We'll see. If they can shut down top hard enough, though, maybe they're hoping that that'll make up for the difference. So yeah, they're really choking out our top lane right now. So Teemo's level 4, but with both of them level 3, they're really holding back Teemo. Interesting. So here's our jungler coming in to help out and do a gank and killed one of them. And will we kill the other? No, it looks like Brand is staying up there and is gonna stay alive. So here we go on bot. It's interesting that they're running Lux on bot. I guess that's going to be their support. So one of the things to bear in mind is that the more they can distract one of the players from getting those last hits in on these little minions, the less money that they get. Right now we're up by about 3,000 money, or 3,000 gold. So we have a little bit of an advantage, but the more they can choke out top, that's an entire lane worth of econ that we don't get. But we are gonna get jungle stuff. So they're already attacking tower and mid. That's interesting. So hopefully Mustard Fandango can repel that attack. So now here we are pushing up on their bot a little bit in order to try and get some of that economy. Their Lux is very low. That is a very dangerous place to be. Somebody's gonna dive, yeah. Alright. And then, so we got that. Okay, so now we see their top lane is still back down to just the one character, or the one top laner up there. So we're doing the normal arrangement of the top laners versus the mid laner and the mid laners, etc. So here we are. So back at mid lane, our jungler is trying to help out with the gank on their mid laner in order to kind of get him to back off a little bit. And it looks like they're so Brand is finally going into the jungle and trying to start getting some of those experience. I don't know how bad that's going to be for Brand scaling though. He's very far behind on jungling compared to our jungler. So now top lane is down, and they're gonna go, and looks like they're maybe killing mid. And looks like yeah. So he TP'd back to base instead of dying. Then he went down and they ganked on bot. So now their jungler is trying to fend off a little bit of mid. But it looks like Lux is all by herself and is probably going to get taken out again. Yep. It's an interesting arrangement of their players. So, as I said, we've seen this team several times before, so this may be them making strategic choices based on what they know our team to be able to do. In terms of where they do and don't want to fight us on certain things. The identification of Teemo as a late scaling top and then trying to get it down and get Teemo down in the beginning was a pretty interesting choice, but it's ultimately, yeah, if we look across the board, the levels have kind of played out, and kind of like I said, it costs him a little bit on the jungler, and because the jungler was stealing top's XP, he's now a little bit lower too. So that's kind of an interesting scaling decision. So there's the Mordekaiser and Brand back in top again with Teemo. But they're both really low. Well, they know that Bonk is down near the bot. They have vision on that. Okay. So they know that they're pretty safe, because otherwise our jungler would come up here and probably just destroy both of those top laners. But they're currently trying to go get drag, is what it looks like. So I'm not sure which drag this is going to be. This drag is a health restoration drag, so this means that our players, they're restoring health a lot faster than they normally would, so they can go a lot deeper into their pushes into enemy territory and rely on that healing to keep them alive a little bit better. So we'll probably see a bit more aggressiveness from the Magnet team going into this. So, yeah, here we see that. So Teemo's going to go chase them into enemy territory and probably try and get them both, even if they're defended by tower, because she can tank tower for a little while. Yeah. So as I was saying, we saw a pretty hyper-aggressive Magnet there for a little while with that regeneration buff. So they're already starting to attack the mid and bot towers. So like I was saying, with that health buff, they can do that a little bit more easily because they can afford to tank those hits as they need to. So they're getting in good chip damage on the towers. It looks like both of our bot laners are returning to get full health. And I'll probably do some purchases. See ya. Good luck in the playoff match tomorrow, too. Sorry, that was some of our Mario Kart kids practicing for our quarterfinal playoffs tomorrow. So Brand has gotten his ult now at level 6, and he's going up against Vex in there. So okay, he almost reversed that though, but he did burn his ult, so he's gonna have a little while before he's gonna come back up. So, just so everybody at home is aware, because with the outcomes of these matches, what's going to happen over the next couple of weeks, we're going to hit playoffs. So right now, the slated playoffs are going to be Magnet versus Mandeville, and I believe GatorGaming versus Holy Cross. So we'll see kind of how everything mets out and then going forward from there. So there's bot attacking tower the whole time again with that health regen. They can basically do that with those creeps coming in on the bot and with the two bottom laners. No, where are the two bot laners? Oh, they're coming back. Okay. So they've done tremendous amounts of damage to the tower, and once they get through that, they'll be able to get to the secondary tower. Looks like Gwen just either used an ult for an immunity or something, but then still wound up going down because they couldn't follow through on the damage to us. So it looks like they started to even out the levels a little bit. So their Lux on bot is very low. Their Mordekaiser is also low, but that was because their jungler was stealing the Mordekaiser's XP at the first. So it's interesting, without that extra XP, you can kind of see that their levels are about a couple levels behind us each time, but it's mostly because of that XP loss, I think, from the lack of jungling at all at the beginning. So they got their jungler again there down. And then looks like Teemo may go in for the harass on Mordekaiser. Okay. So now we just have their bot lane still intact. We'll take them out probably in just a moment. Again, it's allowing us to play hyper aggressive with those buffs. With the drag buff and also the level difference. I believe it was level 11 when we next tier up our ults, so we'll see probably some interesting things coming out of top and out of mid for their ult tiers as they level up. So we got that mid player down, and now they almost got Brand down again. We took that first turret also at top, it looks like. So now they're probably and then they took out so one of the big things about channeling is you get to go home and heal, yes, but it leaves you vulnerable during that time, and you can be interrupted, and that one hit wound up taking them out. So we're now a lot deeper into their territory. So our mid just got their secondary ult up because it's either level 11, and so did our top. So now Teemo will probably be able to pull out some, more damage against them. So we're probably going to start pushing for these towers again, and then we're going to go for, so we got the kills. They're going to take out that mid tower in the middle and then start pushing deeper into enemy territory. As you can see on the bot, we're already at that second defense line, and top's probably going to wind up being there in a moment. They're still waiting for reses. So here's the second drag. This looks like a rock drag, which is defense, if I'm not mistaken. We'll find out. So we destroyed that turret in mid, and it looks like Teemo's working on that turret up there. So which drag was that? Let's see. Cloud Dragon. So more move speed and resistance to CC effects. So things that slow us down. So we have more stable move speed now. I don't think that hasn't looked like. It looks like Gwen does a little bit of CC, but we haven't seen a lot of CC from the other team, so it may not be hyper useful. We'll see what the third dragon is, because those third dragons are the ones that keep on spawning afterwards. So our top, we took out all the first wave of turrets on the top mid and bot. Now we're pushing back deeper into enemy territory. So it looks like we've got some kind of dot from their ult on Senna. Senna's really pushing forward a lot harder than probably is advisable. So Senna's going to be back into home. to get healed up. Oh, so we summoned a Rift Herald. It looks like they're going against that secondary tower on mid as the Rift Herald. Yeah. So the Rift Herald does a tremendous amount of damage to structures and then can proceed on. So they did that and took out a couple of, like, the whole enemy team, it looks like, yeah. Between the different lanes and then that Rift Herald. So now that's basically a bunch of free damage to get into there. So they're going to start taking out these secondary towers probably while we're waiting on the opposing team to respawn. So there's another tower. And then top tower is probably going to get taken too. Looks like Teemo's backing. So it looks like a lot of the other team is going to be holding back and then going to be making a concerted effort to go forward as one whole group rather than individually, just so they don't keep on getting picked off like that. The level difference alone right now is going to be damaging to them very badly because we've hit our next tiers of ults on pretty much all the characters and have our ults basically up on all of them too. Yeah, coming in one at a time is just going to get picked off like that. They need to be able to come in and try and do a multi-affair, but if they do, then it's very likely that our team will be hitting more than one ult and then taking multiple people out. So, and as you can see, each time the characters die and as the match goes on, the death timers take longer. So Vex did a good job there of harassing while while the other player was retreating back into their base. It looks like bot's going to be going for the inhibitor soon so they can get the super creeps. We'll see how that goes. Yeah. So traditionally, after killing an inhibitor, it's very common for the whole team to back so they can start preparing the super creeps at full health for a major incursion. But it looks like they're going to go up and try and get the other inhibitor. Or no, they're going in for a harassment on the inner towers. Cool one. So we got another turret down there. Looks like they're going for another inhibitor for the spawn those super creeps in lane. So we're kind of going through here, going through that. And now the question is, are they going to go straight for the core, or are they going to go back and heal up and then come in with all the super creeps? We have a couple of players who are low, but they can kind of get around that with those healing things. We may not even get a chance to see their drag. So here we are. Looks like Gwen's going to get taken out. Then Lux. Nope, Lux is going to successfully stay back. Oh, okay. So our jungler's going in and taking some hits there. And then he's going to have to run away toward another tower. We'll see how that goes for him. Hopefully the tower could be distracted. Oh, there we go. So they're going toward core. They're trying to get those last towers down. As you can see, going out the two at a time right there in the core is not really doing them any favors with a high-level team there. They're just going to take them out. Alright, and now they're going to start attacking core. So, oh, they summoned a Rift Herald. Wait, is that another Rift Herald? Okay, so they summoned the Rift Herald on the core, and it took off almost 40% of the core's health immediately. So, and that is GG. So that is the tail end of the Louisiana State High School games, and what we'll see is we'll be going into playoffs next week. So hopefully Northwood and Holy Cross have a good time, and we'll go against Mandeville next week as well. It'll be next Friday, the 20, and then we'll go from there. thank you much, and have a good day, everybody, and we'll see you at the next one. So tomorrow we have our Mario Kart 8 quarterfinals, and then the Super Smash Bros. Ends of season.